I wrote this post yesterday about section breaks in Word, so I thought I'd follow it up with a short video today just to explain a little bit more about them and how they work. So I'll just flip over to my PowerPoint presentation and we'll just talk about section breaks. Now, the first thing we need to understand is how important they are, because they are a fundamental building block with Word. As I wrote in a previous post about styles in Word, section breaks are one of what I consider to be the two most important things you need to learn with Word, because they are essential to understanding how Word works, the underlying structure, and again, as I say, the building blocks. And take it from me that you'll never be able to create professional layouts for books and things like that without using them. Yes, you can always create a document, you can always just carry on typing and doing that, no problem at all. But if you want to start doing some fancy layouts and things like that, then you need to understand section breaks. The problem with these breaks is they are a pain. Just the way they work and the way they're designed and how you implement them and remove them and things like that. They will mess you up. They will be frustrating. But always remember, as I'll touch on later on at the end, is always save your document before you start messing about with section breaks. And always remember you've got the Control-Z key because you will use it. So what actually are they? For one thing, section breaks are not page breaks. They're totally different things. Some people do use section breaks as page breaks, but that's using them incorrectly. Section breaks allow you to break your document into chunks and to deal with each chunk or part separately. For example, page orientation. If you've got a portrait book or document and you want to insert a landscape page, then you can't do it with a page break. You have to have a section break. If you want to change your columns, let's say from one column of text to 2, 3, 4 or more columns, then you need a section break. If you want to change from 4 columns back to 3, back to 2 or back to 1, you need a section break because you're changing that particular chunk of the document. You're not changing the font or anything on the document or in the document, you're actually changing the layout and the structure of the document. And that's the fundamental part of section breaks, is changing the structure. And you use them to change the page numbering. For example, like in a book, you'll have Roman numerals in, let's say, the front matter or the table of contents area, and then you'll have Arabic numbering for the rest. You can't do that with a page break. You need a section break. And for things like running heads, where you see text running all the way through the document in the header or the footer, like for hyperlinks, copyright information, if you want to change things like that, then you need a section break. And that's basically what they're for. And there are two fundamental types of section break. Same page break and a next page break. Those are the two types. So a same page break, well, there's only one of these in Word, but unsurprisingly, a same page break are breaks that remain on the same page. And in Word, we call these continuous breaks. They're continuous because they create a new section on the page which allows you to change on-page items, such as the number of columns in use. Just because you want to change from 1 column to 3 columns or something doesn't mean you want to do it on a new page. You might want to do it on the page for a newsletter or a newspaper, things like that. Obviously changing the number of columns as well, because you're changing the structure of the document. You'd use a continuous break. And another usage of it is to set a print area. I worked in another life many years ago where they had these big program documents, and one person's job was to provide the project manager with a summary of each project document. So they had like a summary on a page. Now for her, she had to open the document and then go through and find it, make sure it's all on one page, and then she had to print that page out. Whereas if you use continuous breaks above and below, that creates a new section. So then you just print that section. So it's just create a button, print the section. Very, very easy. And the other type of section break are next page breaks. And unsurprisingly, next page breaks force a new page. Exactly the same as a page break does in that respect. So what is the difference? Well, a page break, as I've said before, does not permit you to change the layout or formatting of the document in any way. You can't change a portrait orientated page and then have a landscape page on the next page with a page break. You just can't do it. But for that, you need a section break, and that is the fundamental difference. And with next page breaks, there's 3 of them. We have next page, which no surprises there. We have odd page break and an even page break. And the next page break is inserted at the cursor point, and it forces a new page, same as a page break, but it also creates a new section because you want to do something different with this new section. And why or when do we use a next page break? Well, we use it when we don't want to override the global break settings for our document or book. And this is set up when you initially create your book. If I flick over quickly to my How to Publish Your Book on CreateSpace and Kindle book, and here you can see I have the actual Word document. And I've got the show hide characters turned on, and I would always recommend that you do this when working with section breaks, page breaks, that kind of thing. If I click on page layout, and then I click on any of these margins orientation buttons, but I'll click on margins and then I'll go to custom margins. And here, as you can see on margins, I've set up mirror margins. This is what I want. I want multiple pages because it's a book. And in layout, I have a section start of odd page. But these are my default settings for my book. Now, if I go back to my PowerPoint show, if I just want to carry on the flow of the document, i.e. odd, even pages, then I just insert a next page break because I don't want to do anything different. It doesn't override the global settings. So we use this with whatever type of page layout we have. You can do it with bookfold, mirror margins, just a normal single sheet document, that kind of thing. You can use this in anything. And it helps us continue the page numbering flow and doesn't break up any of the global settings. So that's basically what this is used for. You'll use this break the most, I would have thought. The next type is the even page break. Now, an even page break is inserted in exactly the same way as the next page break. It's inserted at the cursor, it creates a new section, but it's used where we need an even numbered page or an even page as the next page. Because what it does, why and when we use it, it forces an even numbered page. Now, in a book fold document, this is the left-hand page, it's the reverse page, as it were. So we use it when the following page after it, i.e. the subsequent page, must be an odd numbered page. And I'll illustrate this now. If I go back to my How to Publish document and I come down to my second section, if I just zoom out so I get 2 pages, like so. It would have been better if they were next to each other, but c'est la vie. Okay, I'll just zoom out. Okay, now, this is a chapter start. So this is an odd page. This appears on the right. Let me open up. This is the full ebook on eJunkie. So if I click on the same chapter, this is what we see. So we see it's appeared on a right-hand page, which means it's an odd numbered page. It's an odd page. And the one before is an even page, which has the 6. So if I flick back to the Word document, I can see this is exactly what I have. Now let's say, for example, I had a number of equals lorem 10. I want to insert 1.5 pages here. So I need to get rid of that. So I have an odd page here as the end of my introduction. So the following page will be the start of the chapter. But that's an odd page which appears on the right. And so is this. Now I can't have 2 odd pages in a document running next to each other. So what I will need to do here is I will need to insert a blank page. Now I can do that with a page break. And now we're good to go because this is an even page. And this is my chapter start, which is an odd page, which is exactly what I want. But the problem here is, of course, on my blank page, I have my page number and my header. Now, if I don't want them and I get rid, bearing in mind I inserted a page break, if I get rid, look at the previous page. That one's okay. My even page header is gone. Odd pages are fine, but the even page is gone. So I can't do that. Otherwise it's going to mess up all my headers. So what I need to do is, rather than insert a page break, I'd insert an even page break, because that then forces this even page. And as you can see, it's giving me a blank header. So if I turn off my show hide characters, it gives me a blank page, and it doesn't upset the other headers. So I hope that's clear to see why we would use something like an even page break. That's its function, and it allows my numbering to continue perfectly. Okay, well, it's broken the numbering there, but it's still an even number. Continue from previous section. You don't want that as different first page. Continue. Right, that's worked perfectly. But of course, we don't want this linked to previous, and now I can get rid. 7, 6. You don't want to link that one to previous. That's not linked to previous. Now I can get rid. So that's 10, 9. This will be page 8. This will be page 7. And then this will be page 6. There you go. And it all works perfectly now. And as you saw there, because I didn't unlink the following section is linked to the previous. So it would delete. So it's quick Control Z to undo. And that's how you resolve it. I'm going to close that down because I don't want to save those changes. And now I can go back to my PowerPoint slideshow. So as we see, it continues the page numbering flow, ensuring the page number is an even number. Then we have the odd page break, and the reverse of the even page. If we need to force an odd page, then this is the break that we would use. For exactly the same reasons as we'd insert an even page. We want that chapter to appear on the correct side of our book. And as we just saw in my example there, they link upwards. So if you insert a section break, then you need to unlink to the one before it, but you also need to go to the next one if there is a following section break, and you need to unlink that one as well. Otherwise, you will screw up your numbering. And like I said at the start, you will mess this up. You will wonder what's going on, but that's just the way they're designed. And just to reiterate, always save your document before you start messing about with them. Always turn your show hide characters on, because if you don't, then you're going to lose. It's as simple as that. And finally, always remember Control Z on your keyboard to undo. Thanks for watching.